Hi, and welcome to today's episode of the Built Simple podcast. My name is Adam Brsan, and today we have on with us our guest, Cesar Rodriguez, who has a long history in the insurance business and the final expense business. And I've seen a lot of success of what he's been doing lately. And I just thought it'd be great to have him on, talk a little bit about his journey in the insurance industry, kind of where he started, where he's at now, and what's working for him. And why kind of why he's made the moves that he's made, and I'm sure he's probably happy with the decisions he's made to get to where he's at right now. So how you doing today, Cesar?
Doing great, brother. I appreciate you having me on board.
Yeah, great. Like I said, I mean, I know that kind of took you a while to get to where you're at. A lot of different moves. Just always, I'm sure. I mean, I've kind of been the same way. Just always trying to find the best opportunity. A place to call home. And and it seems like you're doing really well with what you're doing now. I don't know if you want to maybe just tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of where you got started and kind of what brought you to where you're at today.
Man, so it's been quite the journey. I spent numerous years on Wall Street, the history there, and stockbroker. I actually worked with Jordan Belfort on the Stratton Oakmont for 9 months before they got closed down by NASD, and ventured Wall Street for 11, 12 years, and then moved on to the insurance industry at 2015.
Okay.
Which at that time, I didn't know anything about insurance. I saw a seminar, joined it, and I said, let me go get my insurance license, see what happens. I needed to shift my directive and my sales career, and then I ended up going to work with an outfit out of Indiana, which, to be honest with you, it was a immediate rude awakening for me. How savage this industry can be when I didn't know anything of it. I didn't know anything of the industry, and I said, okay, cool. I remember signing up with this outfit. We're not going to say any names here, right? So, and the mentor there told me, hey, man, go through the scripts that's on our website.
Mm-hmm.
And do not text me or call me, because it is a privilege to get in my car. And before I can train you, you need to show me that you can write at a high level. And I'm like, dude, I don't even understand the industry for me to, how to even get going. I don't even know how to write one app, let alone write at a high level. So I remembered his name. I wrote it down, and I made it my business to work very hard to kind of get back at him. And it was sink or swim at the beginning, man. But then I just went through the motions, ended up working with some people that taught me the way and that opened doors for me, and I made it my best until I just kept working and working relentlessly, man. And I'm pretty sure you've heard the things that I've done as an individual producer when I was running, in the field. And then COVID came, and then we had to make some changes. And we'll get into why we are where we are now in a minute, once you understand the concept of what brought me to this industry. But I've been in this industry 10 years, and 8 years of those 10 have been in the broker side.
Mm-hmm. So,
yep.
And that, and I kind of the opposite, for me. I mean, I was primarily working with the single carriers and decided to go the broker route for a few years. Kind of like the opposite. You've been more broker. I was kind of more the other side, but now we're both kind of back to simplicity, I guess you could say. It's working well for me, and I know that it's worked really well for yourself. What was it that made you decide that this was the route that you wanted to go? Like kind of going from because I remember, I mean, you were an agent working under me at one of the prior companies that I worked with. But back then, I mean, heck, that was more the broker route. You weren't just writing business with that company. You were writing business with other carriers as well. And I know you were working on building an agency on that side. I guess maybe let's start there. How did things go for you on the broker side when it came to building an agency, and some of the maybe positives and the negatives?
Man, so obviously it's quite compelling, and I'll tell you, I'm happy that I went that route first. in contrast to going the captive route first and then figuring out the other route later.
Yeah.
I'll explain what I mean by that. You know, but while I was running as individual producer, man, I never had any issues. I was writing a bunch, man, 70, 80,000 a month at final expense premium in Texas and Alabama. I mean, dude, I would drive from Texas, from San Antonio to Houston, go shoot up to Dallas, then get right on and go to Texarkana, go to Arkansas, and then I'll come down all the way, end up in Mississippi, and end up Alabama. That was my road.
Oh yeah.
And I made it my business
all over the place.
Just relentless, man, relentless, and just working and working and working. But then when I decided in 2019 to start building, that's when all the problems came. I'm going to give you full transparency on my experience. Yeah. Okay. And I started having these issues. And then a lot of agents and chargebacks and roll-ups and people quitting because they couldn't make any money because they were writing 6, 7, 8 different companies. You know, back then, Insurance Toolkit wasn't around, where you were forced to learn agent guys with 9 or 10 different companies to learn how to write business, you know, and learn how to underwrite when you are presenting. Mm-hmm. You know, and that wasn't an option for us, man. It wasn't an option for us then until Toolkits came out in late 2019 or 2020, I think it was, right when COVID came around. And then it made the transition easier to learning carriers code. All you have to do is just plug in date of birth and figure out something. And then all of a sudden now you have an underwriting tool that can tell you where to place the business. But to make a long story short, man, just the headaches of having to deal with, you know, 10 and 15 different companies, having to deal with 4 or 5 people above you who they're never on the same page. So leadership is everything to me. The leadership was horrible, you know, in that side of things. And then all of a sudden now you hit a brick wall. Everyone forgets about you. Everybody wants to point fingers. And then you have a situation where you're just running into a mountain. And, you know, and you feel like, okay, either I get myself out of this or I'm going to be out of the business. Right? So you have those 2 options. With me, it was a situation that I felt that if I gave the captive side more of the dedication and the focus that I have, and on that side, that I wanted to see what can happen. Because we all dabbled. I've dabbled with the company I'm at now. Can I say the name or no?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Just want to make sure. Right? So I've dabbled with Senior Life as a broker. I had them as a added tool that I never used, or maybe used very rarely, because I was using other companies, you know, but I never took them serious, which I told you, I'm happy I didn't then, because my mindset wasn't ready for that commitment, the commitment that requires to excel in captivity. And we'll get to that in a second once you say what you got to say. But I'm the other way around. People's like, well, I'm happy I was a captive first, and then now I'm a broker. Life's much better. To me, it's the other way. I'm happy I was a broker first, and now I'm here, and life is a lot better for me.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I could see maybe if all the person wants to be is just a personal producer, and they're good with managing their business, they're good with managing their leads, their marketing, all of those things, you know, the broker route might be all right. But I just think that, like what you said, you know, from a growing standpoint, I think a lot of people out there have gotten hit hard and have ended up out of the business because of trying to build agencies on the broker side. I mean, I experienced the same situation as you. I mean, it didn't take long. For me, all it took for me was one bad agent that just piled up debt all over the place. And, you know, suddenly, you know, this guy is history. He's not doing anything. He's not replying to emails or responding to text messages or answering phone calls. You know, you just can't get a hold of the people. And, you know, suddenly this guy owes $50,000 plus in debt to carriers. And rather than the carrier going hard after that one bad agent, they take the easy route. Let's just roll that up to the next guy. Let him deal with it. Let him figure it out. Let's ruin his livelihood. You know, he wasn't the one that caused the debt, but we'd rather just next guy up, next guy in line, let's just throw it in his lap. And I mean, I get it. Like, I understand that the carriers are trying to make the money back. I mean, that was money that was never earned, but I just kind of feel like maybe they need to go a little bit harder after the person who caused the debt, and not the people that are there trying to help the company grow.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
I mean, and the thing is, you take all this risk for people. You take all this risk for people that don't have the same vision as you do.
Mm-hmm.
And it becomes a rat race. It becomes a hamster wheel, right? Where everyone you hire, you have to vet to figure out if these folks are in the best work in the best interest of not only the company, but as for their leader as well. And unfortunately, in this industry, I don't care who says what, in this industry, it's very hard to find agents that are loyal to leaders. Want to know why? Because they're not loyal to themselves.
Yeah.
You can't be loyal to someone else if you're not loyal to yourself.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So here's what happens. Now all of a sudden, they have 10 different banks that open up lines of credits for them. Because when you have 10 different companies, it's like 10 different banks saying, here's an open line of credit and go run it up. But Adam's in charge, right? So we trust Adam. We're going to give you a credit based on Adam's loyalty to us and Adam's history of who he is. We're going to give you a credit. So an agent comes in and he just takes that a credit and he shreds it apart. Guess why? Because of what you said. They're going to roll right up to you. They don't care about your livelihood. They'll go bankrupt. They'll write off the business. And then now you're left holding the bag.
Yeah. And if we want to remain in the business, it turns into our problem rather than the person who caused the debt. And again, like I said, I mean, I get it. It's part of the business, but I mean, honestly, that's really what kind of opened my eyes a few months back. I mean, I never dealt with that in the past. Just dealing with the single carriers, going the broker route. It's like, you give these guys way too many options. They get hit with a chargeback with one carrier, but then they still have to pay their rent. So rather than, write an app to clear their chargeback, well, they got to make that money back so they can pay their rent. And then they got to make their car payment and all this other stuff where they don't really care who it's affecting, because at the end of the day, they're almost like in desperation mode, just trying to make the money to get by. And like I said, it's like we think bigger than that, but then it turns into our problem. So that's when I decided to make a move. I just kind of figured, you know what? I know I can build. I know I can grow. I'm confident in myself. I've always been good at training agents and working with agents. But what I like about dealing with just the one carrier is, to be quite honest, I could only get screwed once by an agent. rather than 10 times, he can only hit me hard that one time.
Right.
And honestly, I feel like I think it's a lot easier to manage. It's a lot easier to manage that business. I think it's a lot easier to stay ahead of the major debts when you're just dealing with the one company. I mean, I just remember on the broker side how hard it was to keep up with production. Like me personally, I don't have the time to log in to 10 different portals every day, trying to track production, seeing what's fallen off and what was written. And, you see it. And, I think my problem was I saw the debt. Like at one time, this one agent, he owed about $8,000. And, when I called the guy, I was trying to stay ahead of it. And, don't worry, Adam. It's fine. I'm writing business. I'm clearing it up. I'm taking care of it. And then like probably not even a month later, that 8,000 turned into 16,000. And then probably maybe not even a month after that 16,000 doubled. And it's like I said, I never had that problem on the, I guess you could say, captive side. I was an employee with the one company. And there, I mean, heck, yeah, there were some managers that weren't as good as I was at keeping up with the business, but it was a lot easier. It was just one company. I mean, every morning I was taking a look at production, kind of seeing where everybody was at. And I mean, you might even remember getting emails from me, about stuff, production. If maybe you had a guy that might have owed some money or something, I always tried to stay ahead of it. But yeah, it was a lot harder when, like I said, when I don't have the time to log into 10 different portals every morning trying to figure all that stuff out. I'm sure you would agree. And that's, when I changed our podcast name to Built Simple, I mean, that's just kind of who I am. I'm built simple. I'm more focused on just simplicity,
Right.
one product, one company, keeping things simple, not overcomplicating things that don't need to be complicated.
Man, and that's for me the best part of where we're at, because the simplicity of things. I have one agent portal. I look at all my writing numbers, all my override numbers. I look at the business. I look what was placed, not taken, missed payments, lapse notices, everything under one portal. And it's easily manageable like that, man. It's just amazing how, less stressors, I would say. Less stressors. Definitely you're not chasing the hamster wheel process where it's just on and on and on all day long, trying to figure out what's what and calling who and emails from 10, 15 different people every morning. It kills you, man. Kills your drive. It kills everything. And look, I know a lot of friends of mine and people that I know, and I'm pretty sure you too, that have had success on the other side where we were at, in the broker side. I'm not saying being a broker is bad. What I'm saying for my model, my vision, what I'm trying to do for building, you said it at the beginning.
Yep.
As an individual producer is awesome. Yeah, you can rip, you can make a lot of money, you can do this, you can do that. And I'll talk about something that's dangerous with being on that side. To me, building is better in captivity. You can build better in your business. You can manage it better. The persistency reports. You can manage the business. You can give advice on how to retain the business if it's going to lapse, etc., effectively. But it's hard when you're competing with people that work with you in an IMO that just trying to replace their own. Everyone's trying to replace each other's business just to make commissions. Mm-hmm. This is why this industry is screwed up, because people come in to make money. People don't come in to serve people. Mm-hmm. And when that mind changes, okay, and an agent starts saying, "Let me focus on serving instead of making money," the money is a byproduct of serving. Okay, but building relationships and educating clients on the process of why they should buy insurance from you and not buy from all these guys that are calling them 24/7 on an everyday basis, that's what separates the greats from the mediocre. Because anyone can get a check, but the only business that counts is the one that stays and that pays. And that's what they don't teach on that side, because it's like broker Disneyland. It's like being in the wild, wild west, man. Everyone's just trying to, I want my name on the board. Let me go write bad business. Let me do this. Let me do that because I want my name up there. Or let me just continue to churn business. Let me do these things that are not conducive to growth and healthy business. All of a sudden, you've got a whole bunch of chargebacks and you've got people out the business. And then the leaders are the ones that are left holding the bag. We said it again, but that's just the nature of the beast.
Oh, yeah. So, kind of shifting gears here to talk about, we talk a lot about the negative side of the broker business because I know we've both been through it. But now, you are crushing it, man. I see these production reports and I remember, I don't know for sure when you started at Senior Life, like what your contract date was or whatever, but I remember when you at least kind of made it public, maybe, I don't know, a year and a half ago. Am I right? Was it about a year and a half ago? Or?
It's funny, and we'll get to this in a minute. I think it's relative, but to see what's possible. But yes, January 13th, 2024.
Okay.
Is when I came all in with Senior Life.
So just a little over a year and a half ago.
Correct.
And I know your mindset was always about building.
Yep. If you want me to tell you something that's very, just in compare and contrast, okay? I was just told today that I am $133,000 away from earning $1 million in deposits to my bank account at Senior Life since I've been here. And I'll be the fastest agent or leader to do it. The fastest was 24 months. I'm going to probably hit it in the next 2 months.
Wow, that's awesome. So in a year and a half, you're gonna earn $1 million in deposits.
in deposits.
Man, talk about life changing.
Big time. And
Yeah.
if you ask me, could I have achieved this on a builder's side? On the other side that I was on, I would probably tell you no, not as short of a period of time.
Yeah. I mean, it's unbelievable. Now, what are you doing? I mean, are you primarily out in the field? Are you over the phone? Are you a combination of both? Like what have you done to kind of get to where you're at with the company?
So we've established systems within the company systems. Does that make sense to you? So we took Senior Life system, which is the most simplest system to write business from A through Z that I've ever seen. Okay, and manage the business, etc., which we discussed. But I've taken their system, and I've been able to implement strategies and systems internalized within the structure of the agency to ensure that agents get maximum success from the system.
Okay.
We've established bulletproof. We have a very, very high accountability factor built into the culture. We don't release agents to the phones or get them leads right away. There's a process. We're about, I think I spoke to you about this before. Right now, we're about 80-20, 80% virtual, 20% field.
Okay.
We do not just hire an agent and say, here's leads. Go get on the phone, figure it out, sink or swim. Here's your script. We don't do that. We bring an agent in. Okay, we make sure that they learn everything that they have to learn in order to get on the phone or go knock a door or go talk to someone and educate them on insurance, right? So we make sure that agent is properly versed, make sure that they know everything. They're ready for objections, rebuttals. They're ready for anything that can encounter during their processes to ensure that they have maximum success. So we bring them in, we train them, and then they go into a 10 to 20 minute, we call it breakout meeting with me. Once they know everything that they have to learn, how to write the app, how to pull up, agent guides, how to do everything. Our system does the underwriting for us. That. So, how to plug in medications, how to do everything. And then they go into a 10 to 20 minute with me. It's called a final breakout meeting where I'm going to put them through objections and rebuttals training. I'm going to give them everything they can encounter in the field or on the phone, so they're ready for it. Once they pass, then we get them right into leads and then we get them producing. And we found that 73% of the people that go through that process with us, they're writing $2,000 to $3,000 a week their first month.
Yeah, that's good. Well, you need to. That's I tell guys all the time. I mean, especially, I know you're doing the free lead program.
Yeah.
I mean, they got to be writing business or it's just not going to work.
Right.
And I tell people kind of the same thing, kind of sounds like, we're doing a lot of stuff very similar with the training. Because I kind of look at it the same way. I'm basically paying for their calls. So I'm not going to invest into somebody unless I know for sure that they're ready and that they sound good. That would just be a bad investment. I tell them when, I'm recruiting, I'm going to spend my time with you. I'm going to make sure that you know what the heck you're doing, or I'm not going to I'm not going to line you up for phone calls. And, because why would you do that? Why would you just say, hey, there you go get them? And like, that would just be a total waste of money if the agent doesn't know what they're doing.
Yep. And you got to inspect what you expect.
Yeah.
You have to do inspections. Look, we do inspections every Friday. Those manager reports we get?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Right. We send them out. We have a girl that we hired that sends out the manager's report to each individual leader with the agents to look at their missed payments, lapse notices, all these things that could potentially hurt the quality of business. And we have retention teams. We inspect business, the numbers from the prior week, which ends Thursday nights for us. Okay. We inspect all the numbers. We see where we went wrong, why we didn't produce as much as before the week before, what adjustments we have to make, how many agents are new agents this week, what the production looks like versus the agents from last week. We have it all like a science, man. We breaking it down, and we've grown. In January, the free program really started in February. We went from $200,000 in production to $655,000 in 4 months.
Wow. And a lot of that's over the free lead deal?
90% of it.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. How many agents do you have on the platform that are doing the free lead program every week?
I love this question, man. So when we started, we had 81 agents on this thing. Okay. But then we trickled them down. Right now we have 36 agents and we're crushing it. And these
Yeah,
all
there you
these
go.
agents, the least production you'll see from someone in our FLP program on a weekly basis is about three grand minimum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where it should be. I mean, if they're taking 20 calls every week, I mean, there's no reason that they can't write that. What I've seen is that the premiums are higher too. I don't know what it is over the phone, but because I mean, I'm still personally producing. I mean, I would say my average premium is probably $100 a month.
Yeah, you're
So
right. Ballpark. It's
they're
about
higher
90.
premiums.
Yeah, it's about 93.80, but on the phone you're gonna get more
Yeah.
about 100, 104.
Yeah.
In the field it'll be more like 90 in the field.
Okay.
So you're right. You're right when you say that. But look, man, it's the leads is the leads. And another thing I hate is, you know, how people when they're not vested into the lead, if it's free, they're not gonna work as hard. That's bullshit, man. Because if you can get an agent and you lay the account and you lay down the level of expectation, say, look, we're going to give you leads. You got to maintain a PPL in order for the lead to actually be free. Okay,
Yeah.
that means that you have to produce a premium per lead that's conducive to what Senior Life deems acceptable for that lead. We'll show them what that looks like, but we always let them know if you're not going to have skin in this because it's free, you're not going to last no more than a week here.
Yeah.
We're not just going to give you free leads and expect you not to do anything and work when you want. We're not your employer. You're a 1099, but we have a best practice recommendation that feel that we give our agents say, look, you come into this deal. This is what it's going to be. This is what's required for you to be successful. This is what needs to be done. This is how many leads you need to work. This is how much you need to put into this, and understand that you're going to make as much money as you want, but that determines on your work ethic and how coachable you are.
Yeah, that's one thing I've never really understood is people that, that complain about, they always use the term micromanaging.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I don't really consider this micromanaged. It's more, I'm putting together a program that I know is going to work. And if you want to succeed, you want to implement. I mean, I've always wanted to implement what I know others are doing that has helped them to be successful. So like, an agency manager, heck, if they're doing a lot of premium and they're doing a lot more than me, well, heck, I want to know what they're doing and I'm going to follow what they're doing because, I've just kind of always had that mindset. There's no reason that I can't do what they're doing. I wake up in the morning the same way they do. I just got to put the same sort of effort in. But then you had people that complain about micromanaging that they don't, I'll work when I want to work. This is a 1099, and it's like, well, maybe that's why you continue to fail everywhere you go. I mean, it's like, you got to have that mindset, in my opinion, of if people are there to help you and they know what works, they need to be willing to kind of buy into a system that has worked for others.
Right. And this is what I tell the people. So my leaders hire the people. We have another interview process. We bring them in, and then they have to make sure that I feel that they're adequate for what we're building. Not everyone, look, you're going to have people that they're not just going to fit into your culture. They're just not. And it's better not to hire them, because if you hire them, they're going to damage the culture. There's going to be things that are going to put you off, and immediately now you have fires to put out, and all of a sudden you have a culture that's damaged, and then you have to go in repair mode. So one thing I always tell people is when you signed up to be an agent, you have a license to print money. So you have to be a hunter and you have to be an earner. You either have two ways. You're a talker or you're an earner. If you want to talk and you just want to just chat away and say you're going to do this and never do anything, then you're a talker. You're not a hunter. You're not an earner. But you're an action guy. If you want to learn, if you're hungry, if you understand that you eat what you kill, and you understand that this business is going to pay you as much as you pay it, the effort, the focus, the determination, the desire, the dedication that you have towards your business, these components, that is what's going to give your business fruitfulness so you can grow and do what you need to do to build a dynamic business. It could be done anywhere. The bottom line is, if you don't have the right leadership and you don't have the right coach, then how can you get somewhere if you're dealing with people that have never been there?
Yeah. Well, I mean, one thing that's pretty cool. I mean, I know you you've never been one that's a quiet person. I mean, you're always telling people what you're going to do and how you're going to do it. And what's awesome to see is that now you're making it happen. I mean, now you're showing people that you weren't just all talk, you're making it happen. You're putting those numbers up. You're, like you said, I mean, you're going to be you're on pace to be the fastest $1 million earner with the company. I mean, that's something to be pretty proud of, and I'm sure you are. And I mean, what are your plans? What are your goals? What are your outlooks here? What are you looking to do? Like, where do you want to go with this?
Man, right now I work in quarters. So I tell our guys, look, we hit 655. The next step is 750. Let's get to 750 before we start thinking about $1 million. I'm not the type that I like to jump hurdles. It's just too much pressure. It's too much, but I've heard from numerous people that have been at $1 million a month here at Senior Life that the easiest million to get to $1 million from 500K to $1 million is easier than to get from 0 to 100. Okay. Yeah. And that could be true, but I'm staying humble and hungry. I'm staying dedicated, and we just have the understanding that we're working towards the next step. What's the next block? I'll be honest with you. Okay. This last couple of weeks have been very challenging in terms of, the bodies and keeping everything flowing, but we're still going to probably touch, 700,000 this month, if not very damn near close. I know we'll beat the last month, 655. But, we're just trying to get better every day, man, every day. But the vision is, let's get to 750, then let's get to $1 million, and then we look at what we have to look at then. I'm in the business of building leaders. That's what interests me the most. I like to build leaders, teach them what I learned and how I do it, and have those leaders delegate down, and then they can create own leaders from that ladder, right?
Yeah, that was one thing I was going to ask you, because, I mean, to do almost 700,000 a month, I would assume it's not just you and then a whole bunch of agents that are direct to you. I mean, I would assume you probably have some leaders in place at this point that are, that are taking some of the load off of you.
Yes.
Yep.
So we're five wide. We're 5 wide right now. Okay, and then we're building down.
So you got 5 other managers that are kind of had that same mindset as you. They see what you're doing, and now they're implementing that. And yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I remember somebody once told me, how was it worded? What did he say? He said, he was way wrong with this, because he said, you don't want too many chiefs. You just need more Indians. And it's like, no, you want more chiefs. You want more people that want to do what you want to do. You want more people that are going to, again, that have that same mindset, that want to build and that want to grow, where it's almost like you're replicating, yourself to them, or they're replicating you,
That's right.
And that's how you, again, I think that's what this is all about. When it comes to building and growing, and anybody that I've ever seen that's been successful doing this it's never just been them and 500 agents direct to them. That would be completely impossible to be able to manage. I mean, you got to have,
it's not,
you're always got to, you got to find the next leader.
Right. And look, man, I always tell my people the 3 components to really build something dynamic leadership is transparency, integrity, and loyalty. Okay, and then you take action with those 3 components. Everyone has to. I've found that if you have one person in your leadership ladder that's not in tune with the way you run your business, it'll destroy everything. Everyone has to sing. It's like symphony. Everyone has to sing the same tune. Everyone has to be on the same pace. Everyone has to have the same goals aligned. The egos, we got to check them at the door. You've made a ton of money. You've made a ton of money in your career. I've made a ton of money in my career. We've made money before. We've been 6-figure plus, high 6-figure plus earners before. I know that, right? So I know, so to us, it's like, check the ego at the door. We live in nice homes. We have all these things. Put the ego to the side. That's not going to help anyone. Be in the business of serving people and helping others. And then you start seeing people gravitate towards you. Word of mouth spreads, and all of a sudden now you build. It's imperative to know that you and I, at this company, we are building with one product, man. To do 700K in final expense premium It's a lot harder than to do 700K as a broker, because as a broker, you have annuities, you have IULs, you have mortgage protection, you have final expense, you have all these premiums that some of them are even $10,000 in one policy, $5,000, whereas we're writing $80 to $100 a month policies.
Oh, yeah.
It's a lot harder.
Yeah. I mean, I remember talking to a PNC guy once when I told him I was writing like $20,000 a month in premium and just final expense. I mean, he couldn't believe it. Like, to me, that's average. I mean, I guess it's pretty good, but I mean, there's people that write a lot more, but yeah, like other industries in that they look at the numbers like, man, that they understand the type of work that it takes to do that sort of premium, because we're not talking about, an average $200 a month premium. I mean, we're talking $60, $70 maybe. Like I said, over the phone, maybe a little bit more, but yeah, it's not easy. But anyways, yeah, I was glad to have you on today, Cesar. And I don't know if there's anything else you wanted to say, but overall, I think that I just felt like people needed to hear a little bit about what you had going on, because like I said, I see these numbers and you haven't really thrown much out there, but I think now's a good time to kind of tell everybody about what you got going, because you've been real successful at it, and you should be proud of what you've done so far here.
This is, at the end of the day, we're just running with it, man. We work hard. We lead our people. We make sure our agents are making money. We're spending time with our people. We're just not sink or swim. We're not, one thing about us is, man, the numbers don't drive us. Is the serving leadership that drives us. We want to serve our people. We want to work with people that want to work with us. We're good people, man. We just expect people to work. You come into this culture, you're going to work. We're going to help you make money, but you're going to work, and we tune out the noise. Let's be realistic. The company we've been in, the press, and all these different variables and factors, and people saying this and people saying that, I wouldn't work over there because of this. I wouldn't work. No, we tune out the noise, man. We're working and we got our heads down. We understand that every individual is different. You're going to have different experiences. I can talk about the experiences that I've had other places. Why do that? It says more about your character when you have to down another company or another place because you're not there any longer than it does about the company itself. Yeah. Just work with integrity, man. Just focus on your deal. But yeah, man, we've been killing it. We started, I told you, when this free lead program, 200K, we're now at 655 this month. We're probably going to touch 7. We're close to it. We're not, again, the mission here is to build as bigger as we can so we can protect and save as many agents as we can. Okay, what I will tell you is I was writing the independent companies, man. I know what's out there. You couldn't pay me enough money to ever leave here. And we've been through the worst moments. I've been through the worst moments in this company, and I'm going to be loyal to them. I love them. They've delivered on everything that they've told me that they're going to do for me, my family, my agents, every single thing this company has delivered on, every single thing. And I can only judge them based on how they've been with me. And that's how I judge you and everybody else.
That's funny because, I was thinking about that, the negative press out there, people, bad mouthing companies and stuff like that. And it's like, same thing here, Cesar. I mean, since I got going with these guys, I mean, just top notch. I mean, everything, they've gone out of their way to help me. I mean, they've done stuff that they don't need to do to help me, but they do. So yeah, I mean, kind of the same thing. I mean, I feel like they've gone out of their way to set me up for, for long-term success. Kind of the same thing. Like, they know that I don't really plan on going anywhere. Like, they know that this is where I want to be and that this is where I want to be long-term. And like, I don't want to have to start over again. This is it. Like, my wife pretty much told me, if it don't work here, you're going to have to find a new career. So,
and I will tell you, I know your wife, right? Lovely, beautiful woman, and I met her. We went to dinner at town with Heather, and we, and I will tell you is, man, you can build whatever life you want here, man. I'm living proof, brother. If I did it, so can you. I'm not any better than you. I just took the systems and I figured out a way to leverage them in a positive way to be able to scale within that system. And it's working.
Yeah. Yeah. And, I think so many people worry about the what ifs. What if it doesn't work? Well, why focus on that? Why don't you focus on just making it work?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, the funny part is when you start focusing on what ifs, that's when you actually fail because your
Yeah.
mindset is already damaged. You're like
Yeah.
going into something already damaged.
Yep.
It doesn't make any sense, man. But look, you're going to have the same experience, man. Just stay with it. Obviously, my advice to you, we're neighbors, right? We live literally
Yeah.
20, 30 miles away from one another in the same state. Whatever you need from me, I got you, brother. You're a great guy. I've always loved you. I've always liked you. And I know that you can build the deal that you deserve. You've always been the hard worker. You've always been in the car. You've always been selling. No one can tell me any different about your work ethic and what you've done. You're a great guy. You're a family man. You're a great father, great husband. There's no reason why this deal won't pay you. And I'm willing to bet you within the next 6 or 12 months, we'll be having a conversation where you're saying that $400,000 or $500,000 a month. Okay. And then now you're dictating the directive of your team and where it's going to go long term. It's going to happen, man. It's going to happen.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, it's been, it's been a little bit of slow growth, but that was because when I first started, I honestly just really needed to focus on writing business and then, making money. But I mean, the last 3 months or so, 2-3 months, starting to really focus more on recruiting and making that a part of my week. And I mean, I can see it I'm kind of at the point right now where I kind of feel like it's all going to start to come together. I got each week now, I got more people coming on. I think yesterday I had 2 new people contracted. So yeah, I mean, every week that's kind of my goal. At least have, if I'm happy, at least if I have one or 2 new bodies each week to work with.
Yeah.
Cause like what you said, I mean, heck, you don't need a ton.
No.
You got 36 agents working in the call center, and that's all you need. You don't need, I mean, heck, Ron told me really all you need is 20 good agents and you can make some damn good money.
And another thing I was going to tell you is, since you told me to speak a little bit about it, in about September, October, we're opening a physical call center. Okay. Somewhere in the suburbs of Illinois. You're more than welcome to come there sometimes with your agents if you guys want to work and work. I'm going to have a big space, probably about 2,000, 2,500 square feet. We're going to have cubicles. We're going to have TVs. Everything's going to be there. So we're going to open one here. Okay, you're welcome. Like I said, as my brother, as a partner in senior life, to come down and use the space too, brother. It's going to be really good. And maybe bring in agents to show them a physical space or what could be if they work locally, etc. But we're going to be really scaling this thing, man. We're staying, like I said, very humble. We're not stepping on anyone's toes. We don't care about the noise. We don't care about the bullshit. We just care about what we're doing every single day. And we're locked in, man. We're locked in.
And I'm, that's awesome. And I'm happy to be a part of it too with the company. Cause, like I said, I mean, I was with, the competitor of Senior Life for 11 and a half years. And, I didn't know anything about the broker world. I really didn't.
Right.
And I did well there. I was good just kind of focusing on the one product, the one company. And then, went on to the company where I was an employee for 7 years. Same thing. I mean, that was all I was focused on. And I was successful. So it's like I've had the most success in my business when I focused on just one carrier. I don't need all the other stuff. And again, I think so much of it is just the noise, the outside noise. So many people on social media are so full of their own opinions. And most of them, at the end of the day, even guys at the other company, the first company I was with, they'd always say, if you want to talk, show us your 1099. Well, honestly, yeah. I mean, a lot of people are so opinionated on social media and they're not doing much of anything, I bet. But they have an opinion, Well,
my thing is this, look, and just so you know, I have respect for competitors. There's some people friends of mine that I have that I hold dearly hard. Even the first company you were with years ago.
Yeah.
Okay. Not the one currently out of Utah, but the ones from before.
Yeah.
And I have people there that I worked with very a short period of time, and it didn't work out for whatever reason. But I respect those guys. Those guys are doing big things. Those guys are doing a lot of great things. And at the end of the day, I've never taken the time to bash anyone or bash them because it didn't work out with me when I was younger and I was a rookie and stuff like that. More power to them. To this day, I love those guys. I respect them because they paved the way for some folks to be successful. The same way that I love the people I'm working with now. You know, I love RP. I love Mitch. I love the leadership here. You know, I love Frank Funderburg. I love him. Chief of Compliance. I love him. I can speak high volumes. Doug Blake, our top leaders and stuff like that. You know, you and Julio and, you know, a lot of the top leaders in this company. You know, I got nothing but love and respect for everyone, man. I try to stay away from all that craziness and pointing fingers. I know I remember I did this, I did that, and this guy and that girl, this and this. I don't care about that, man. Listen, if you are in a position of power and you're making money and you have the audacity to waste your time talking down on others, what does that really say about you?
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. You're doing well.
Yeah.
Pay attention to your boat, man. Stop trying to, you know, jump on someone else's sails and try to knock and steal their thunder, you know?
Well, I'll be honest. I mean, that's why the last, 4 months? Yeah, last 4 months. I mean, I've been pretty quiet. Social media. I just been working. I don't need people's opinions.
No.
I don't need the world to know what I'm doing for all these people to come out of the woodwork and be like, why are you doing that? Why, you know, like, I don't need it. You know, I'll show you why I'm doing it when you look at my bank account.
That's it. That's all that matters, man. Our RP always says that. He says, hey, man, let them talk. Show them how much money you making. It's what's just positive that counts, man. That's all that counts. And
I mean, like I said, you're proof right there, man. Like, just talk about the turnaround from the broker side. Like you said, you made money, but you also got hit hard from other agents with debts and, you know, and it sucks because that's, you know, we've both been through that. But anyways, looking forward to the future ahead. Happy to have you on today, Cesar, and we'll have to do this again sometime.
Hey, brother.
I look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks too out in Arizona.
In Arizona, man. Before I let you go, anytime, remember, man, I told you at the beginning, I encountered trouble when I started building in the broker side. You know, as a personal producer, I deposited well over $1 million as a broker in my career. And now I'm going to do it as a leader with one company. To me, you know, all glory to God, because without him, I can't do what I do every single day. But, man, you know, that's something to speak when you can produce at that level and get paid that amount of money and do it as a leader as well, because not all great producers can become great leaders.
Exactly. So well, thanks again, Cesar. Like I said, great to have you on. I'll see you in a few weeks. And this will conclude the episode of our Built Simple podcast. If you like what you heard, please like and share this with others that could benefit from the conversation that Cesar and I had today. Thanks again.
Thank you, brother. Be well. See you soon.
Sounds good. Take care.